everybody, how is it going? It's the Fuzz! So it's about time we talked about the campaign a little bit. Some of you guys may have seen this stream Noxious did. That was pretty fun to watch, even though he fell victim to a river of salt a little bit here and there. But, you know, whatever. He had an off day. So I'm gonna cover several things in this video. This is not gonna be a detailed mission by mission walkthrough. That would take forever. And I think for most of these, you don't really need a walkthrough. You just need like a general tip. So as far as the campaign itself, it consists of 10 main story missions and 10 side challenges. And completing those unlocks additional cards. The hardcore mode exists for the main story missions, and each one gives you a gold star. If you get all 10, you unlock the foil Amalric hero. And if you do all 10 side challenges with the hidden challenge, what I mean is, let's say you take this one, Silver Star challenge, play no more than 2 spells. If you just beat the challenge, you get the reward. But if you also fulfill this condition, you get the Silver Star. And if you collect all 10 Silver Stars, you get the Amalric card back. I mean, again, you can do these later. You can just beat them on normal. And if you're having trouble, and then do hardcore. I just ran it straight through on hardcore, just to see what happens. It was a great fun. Let me start with that. The whole campaign as a whole was a great experience. Aamon was a great boss battle, and it took me like an hour to beat him or something on stream. And I'm hoping we get more boss battles like that. So, how does it all work? You start with a deck. This is the kind of like the final deck. Your starting deck will have obviously a lot less cards than this. And then as you beat each mission, you'll get more cards, which you can then substitute and switch out your deck. These are basically like all the cards, plus like the dual colors, which I have here. Here, if I just take these off, you see all the cards that are available. There's like 28 total. And yeah, the 15 new cards and like 13 random order cards. Most of them complete trash, actually. So your starting deck is kind of trash, which is why when I started out, I lost the first mission on hardcore. I would actually suggest you don't do that. Play like 2 or 3 missions and challenges on the normal, so you get a decent collection of cards going. And then you'll end up with this deck, or some variation thereof, when you go on to face Aamon and Bezarok. So, speaking of the rewards, you start... Where the hell is it? Over here, right? So, the very first mission, you beat that, you get 4 Centuries of the Light, right? And then you can just add them to your deck. That's pretty nice. They're gonna be better than some of the cards in your deck. Again, you don't have to beat this on hardcore. Hardcore just gives you the gold star. Now, what hardcore is, I'll get into that next. And then one big unlock comes in the second mission, giving you the Dwarven Mortar, which is a huge card, and it's very helpful for winning a lot of missions. So getting this mission and getting these 4 cards is going to make your deck so much better. Next up, you get Companion of the Heavens, 2 copies. It's alright. It's going to be, at the time you get it, it's going to be useful. You're going to eventually cut it from your deck because Triangelica Sentinel is just a lot better. Moving on, you're gonna get 4 Steelnor Innkeeper. That's a great card. His ability to silence or stupefy and shuffle cards back into your deck is actually really, really good. Then moving on, we've got the 2 Trigons. That's gonna be really good because Trigon lets you like splash the colors pretty well. And then you get 2 copies of Diogem. Diogem is insane. And then so on and so forth. 2 Arrow Barrage. That's actually kind of terrible for a late game. 2 Holy Radiance. That's pretty good. And 2 Triangelica Sentinels. Of course, you get them at the end for the final battle. How lovely. Now, these silver challenges, you unlock one with each mission. So, as you beat a mission, you'll get a new challenge. You beat the next mission, you get a new challenge. And if you look at these rewards, now, I don't know exactly what order they're in. I know this was the first one, I think. Or maybe this one. Because they're kind of all over the map. So, I don't remember what unlocks when. But as you can see, this one, 2 Exorcism. Exorcism is actually really good. 2 Unbreakable Spirit, that's pretty terrible. I mean, that's not a very useful card. 2 Ray of Righteousness, that's nice. 2 Reincarnation Spirit, that was actually one I really liked. That card ended up being pretty useful. This one is really good. 2 more Trigons of the Pact. So, while, as you saw, a lot of these early missions gave you just 2 copies of, like, the Sentinel and all the other best cards, these side missions are where you get the other 2 copies. So, be sure to complete those as you go to improve your collection as much as possible, especially if you intend to do hardcore. Because if you want to be hardcore Aamon and Bezarok, you're going to need to have most of the cards available, because those battles were rough. So I've been talking about hardcore mode, right? So, well, how does it work? Well, I'm going to show you by just going into a game real quick. And the only difference is you're going to see these 3 icons here, and they say reinforcements, right? So this one, enemy reinforcements, 2 times lightning bolt, that's going to say what the reinforcement is. And it says triggers in 2 turns. So, okay, well, let's just play out a turn, right? Whatever. Now all the counters go down by 1. And the next turn, when I pass it over to him, that's when it's going to activate. So we play the guy, boom. And now there's going to be some flavor text usually. And then they get activated and he casts them both. And important thing is they are cast for free. For free. The AI does not pay mana for them. So as you can see, 2 lightning bolts, not a big deal. But then next one, he gets 2 fireballs. And then 2 cannonades. So that's a bit rough. And some of these reinforcements get pretty insane. Especially later on. But your hero power is how you deal with it. If you see a reinforcement like this, double fireball, you can hero power right before that turn. And then they'll just do nothing because your creatures can't be targeted. So that's generally how I handled a lot of these reinforcements. And beyond that, the battles just play out the same. So the AI just gets a little bit of advantage. Overall, I've found hardcore to be not that difficult. We're just going to exit this out. With a number of notable exceptions, of course. I'll get to those. The first battle I lost because my deck was really bad. Well, the starting deck is really bad. And trying it on hardcore was pretty rough. But as soon as I got a few cards extra, I started just rolling them up on hardcore. I hit a bit of a roadblock here with the Sinister Spirits mission, because they run a lot of discard, and that's very annoying. And their middle reinforcement is an Infernal Tribute, which is pretty nasty, actually. And then they eventually get Zierra, and they have access to the this card, actually, the Shrieking, whatever it's called, Shrieking Banshee. And because they get to cast reinforcements for 0, you can see a Shrieking Banshee come down and summon like 6 Enchained Souls. This is also why the Steel Nor Innkeeper is so important, because you can silence Zierra and remove the effect from the Enchained Soul, so they are, again, back to being slaves. So, this one was a little bit rough, but, not too big of a deal. But I just wanted to point this out, because I heard from some people then that this one was a little bit on the difficult side, even on normal. But, I mean, on normal, you should just smash these, because the AI is not, like, that clever or anything. And it's not like they run any overpowered cards or anything like that. With the possible exception of Aamon, maybe. After that, it was pretty smooth sailing until I reached this one. This is the 8th mission. And this is because these guys' reinforcements are fucking ridiculous. So, you start off with double Noxious Fumes. You can kind of protect yourself with your hero power. And then, okay, 2 Swamp God Emissaries. But the real treat is this one. Infernal Tribute and Bezarok come on the board for free. This means they can kill 4 of your creatures for 0 mana. And then this guy's hero power also can, it's like the advanced Nephiros, they can reanimate a creature for 3 mana and 2 life. So basically for beating this mission, you gotta just SM Orc before this thing triggers. You might still win even if it does trigger, but this is just an idea of how insane they can get. This is actually one of the most insane. Bezarok is the only other one whose reinforcements are like really ridiculous. And I'll show you those next. The last 3 missions are pretty tough. So Bezarok is the next one, the second to last battle. So you look at his reinforcements. Okay, what has he got? 2 Nightbringer. Whatever, right? 2 Thought Devourers. That's pretty decent. 2 times Succubus. That's absolutely insane. And you want to know what his hero power is? Basically cast Reanimate. So when you face him, he just reanimates Succubus over and over again. So to beat Bezarok, 2 cards are extremely important. The Innkeeper and the Sunblessed Priest. Because the Sunblessed Priest gives you healing, which you will need, and the Innkeeper you can use to shuffle dangerous cards from his graveyard back to his deck, so he doesn't reanimate them, because, yeah, you can get wrecked pretty fast by this one. This was a cool fight when I fought him. Not like super duper hard, but definitely a spike along with the previous mission. And then the last one, and actually for this last one, I'm probably just going to do a separate video, because Aamon is so insanely difficult, even on normal. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a spoiler. If you don't know this already, and if you don't want to be spoiled, then, you know, skip ahead. I put it in the description how far ahead you should skip. Then skip to that if you don't want to hear it. Spoiler alert end. When you beat Aamon for the first time, he comes back with another 20 life and a new hero power. And he does that a 3rd time. So you actually have to do 60 damage to him. Furthermore, I believe Aamon has access to some kind of special cards that allow his cards to transform into whatever he wants. Because I swear to God, from playing this guy and from watching Noxious's stream, it seems Aamon can just draw whatever, not exactly whatever he wants, but he can draw the answers he needs with such consistency that it has to be rigged. Like, he has fireballs and noxious fumes, seemingly in unlimited number. He seems to always get an Underworld Scourge, Dr. Styx, like, constantly to kill my guys. And then, when I was playing him, and I was, you know, I stabilized my life, because life can be a big issue, because his 2nd form hero power is 1 mana, summon a copy of a demon you have, so he just copies Succubus, right? Then he plays like 3 vultures or something, copies another vulture, and like mills almost all my cards. So it's like, where does he get these cards? So I don't know exactly what's going on, how he's able to do this, but it's definitely not natural. You see his deck is 90 cards. I suspect that his cards may read something like transform into one or the other, or maybe there's some algorithm that says, well, I could use this card, or it might say, if he plays this card, I need to draw this card. If he has this card, I need to draw this. You know what I mean? I don't know the workings of this. Maybe the developers can confirm, but I swear to God, it has to be rigged. Anyways, this fight is unique because the reinforcements are actually laughably easy. Like, look at that. 1 Curse of Risha, that's literally nothing. 1 Word of Pain, that's literally nothing. 2 times Flash of Delirium, okay, he mills you for 10. So these reinforcements are a joke. But the battle itself is very hard. So if you're playing this on normal, you know, without the reinforcements, even Bezarok and the Legions are not that hard. But Aamon is almost as hard on normal as he is on hardcore. And for some players, this is going to be a huge difficulty spike, because, like, it took me, like, an hour to beat him, right? And the game I finally beat him, sadly, I don't have it anymore. It was like a 15-minute struggle of unmilling myself, healing myself, controlling the board, preparing for his removals. What the fuck? Now, I love that. That was great. But the thing is, you're gonna experience this on normal as well. Almost to the same extent, because these reinforcements don't do anything, really. So, I think that's actually a bit of a problem. I think the devs should have made him a little easier, but, like, ramped up his reinforcements, or giving him, like, a 4th reinforcement 20 turns down on hardcore. That's, like, summon Bezarok, Azorius, and double Succubus, or something retarded like that, right? That would have been the way to go. As it is, on Noxious's stream, Noxious was struggling really hard with him, and was super annoyed, and I can understand, because when you're playing on normal, you expect to beat it, right? You're just supposed to kind of have a good time. You expect a challenge, but not to the degree that it was. On hardcore, anything goes. I expect to get my ass beat on hardcore with this guy, and I most certainly did, but I would have gotten my ass beat just as much, or no, maybe slightly less, but still really rough. So For the future, I think make the final boss easier on normal, but harder on hardcore. Like, beating the final boss on hardcore is supposed to be insane. And it was, but not because of the hardcore mode, just because of the encounter itself. So, now for beating Aamon, I'm going to go to the deck editor and then go over my deck, because that deck was basically tuned to beat Aamon, and just overall give you ideas for what cards are good, what cards you should be running. Anywho, we're going to resign this. Yes, I want to resign. Now, the deck itself. So this is the deck, right? This is more or less the final version of the deck that I used. And I'm going to kind of go over these cards and why I think they're so insane. So Steelhost Spearman. This one wasn't in all of my battles, but it's really good because it's a 3-speed 1-drop. It works with Diogen, and it gives you an early game board presence. Board presence is extremely important with this campaign, because your hero power relies on it, and it's how you can catch up in value against the AI. The other 1-drop, the Sentry of the Light, is just not as good. Temple Guard is really good because he's protected, so when you play him, he can't just get removed. And if you can give him the Trigun of the Pact, then he becomes a 4-2, and it's actually really hard to bring down. Steelnor Innkeeper, this card is so good. You get milled a lot in these battles, honestly. Not just Aamon. In a lot of these battles, you get milled. The Innkeeper can really help you counter that, and it can silence stuff, or stupefy. I'm just so used to saying silence. And it's a really, really good effect. Really, really good. And it's one of the best cards you can put into your deck. Now, a card which I don't have in here, but you will need for Bezorok and Aamon, most likely, is this guy. Because it's your only source of healing, and because they can both play, like, a lot of Succubi, you will just lose otherwise if you don't have it. Also, another little spoiler, well, not really a spoiler, you probably already knew this. If you get to 40 life against Aamon, you just win straight out. You don't have to go to second phase or anything, you just win. Which I think is a really bad. You should not be able to cheese the boss this way. Though, to be fair, it's not as easy as it seems, because this is your only healing card, and the AI loves killing this thing with Dr. Sticks. But if you're struggling, that's probably your best bet for beating Aamon. Just get to 40 life, play this guy, give it as many Might Emblems as you can, protect it as much as you can, and then just, like, if he plays a big creature like a vulture, stupefy it to put it in the front and just attack into it while you're protected by your hero power to get a lot of life without triggering his second phase. But yeah, Sunblessed kind of goes in and out of your deck depending as you need it. Reincarnation, some people in chat didn't like me running this, but again, because you get milled so much, this always ends up in your graveyard, and you can just play it out as a 3-3. It's pretty good, and it has a Might Emblem to begin with, so it's got some interactions with your other cards, which is pretty nice. Also, if it's in your hand and you have to discard it, that's fine. You just replay it anyways. So it's a good value card. It ended up working out pretty well. Triangelica Sentinel. This card is absolutely insane, and it's gonna be very needed for some of these battles because he allows you to keep a board. Actually, this guy and Reincarnation Spirit have some funny cheese going on against the AI, where the AI tries to fireball like your spirit, removes the might counter, fireballs it again, and then you just replay the spirit with a Might Emblem, so it's again protected. You can waste a lot of fireballs from the AI by doing this. A Master Hunter, this card is really good too because it allows you to attack the back row. There's a lot of flying stuff that the enemies have, and being able to use him is really, really good. I chose him over Timea because Timea's card draw just wasn't as necessary. You can play a mix and match, but I think Master Hunter ultimately provides more value. Dwarven Mortar. This card is absolutely insane in this campaign. There's a lot of targets for this. You can play it on turn 3, and if you played a 1 or 2 drop, you can just blow something up, and that's really, really good. You get this really early, and it should stay in your deck the entire time. Diogen is the other insane card. Not only does he, like, immediately get value, you can get back a Shrine, you can get back a Trigon, but a lot of your guys will give you the Might Emblems, and yeah, like, it's just insane. Card advantage and board advantage. If you play him with even one level 1 card, you also get a Might Emblem. Great with Instill. Trigon, it's really good. The buff is actually relevant. It'll help you control the board, which is important. And, of course, since this is kind of a 3-color deck, it'll help you out with that. Holy Radiance! Holy crap, this card is ridiculous. It is how you clear a lot of boards. 3 damage will clear almost everything the enemy will play, with like a handful of exceptions. Like Zera won't die. Deathbound Incarnate probably won't die. They might have a really large Vulture. But otherwise, it's insane. It's so much better than Arrow Barrage. Exorcism. This card is, again, insane because everything you face is evil, and there's a lot of cost 2 or less. It's basically hard removal with card draw attached to it. And it even has the added utility of sending stuff back to your deck if you need to. You can also shuffle enemy stuff, which is useful if you're facing like a reanimate base deck. 2 Instills. It's a shame it's not 4 because you have so many good targets, though it's not strictly necessary to run that many of them. You have good targets, but you can kind of get stuff back with the Innkeeper and the Exorcism. But putting, let's say, a Mortar and a Diogen immediately on the board, that's insane value. And then I went with 16 Shrines and 4 Trigons. This is 3, but it's actually 4. So this card is this deck is 61 cards. You could just cut, like, I don't know, a Triangelica Sentinel. Now, more like a Reincarnation Spirit. So this is more or less the kind of deck you should go for. Cards like Heavy Infantry and Armory Supplies, which are in your deck or like available to you early on, you're going to want to avoid those entirely and just cut them as quickly as possible because they just don't do anything. Your plan for these games is the same. Get a board and protect it. Get efficient trades. Keep your value going with Diogen, Reincarnation Spirit, and Exorcism to an extent. And control the board at all costs. There is nobody has Cataclysm or anything. If you have a big board, the AI cannot clear it in any way. And with Master Archer, you can clear back row as well. This will win you all your games. And against Aamon, you're going to have to play against him a few times. But your easiest way to beat him is just to cheese him with 40 life. And even that's not like super easy, but it's probably the easiest way to do it. So that basically concludes my campaign review. It was fun. You can replay these missions as you want. Like, I might just do it, like, play Aamon some more if I really want to punish myself, right? Because it really is great. It's astonishing how they managed to make such an awesome battle. It's just, for the future, make the normal version less insane. You can have the stages, that's fine, but on hardcore, add, like, a 4th reinforcement, which comes on, like, turn 20, and because it's such a long fight, you usually get there, and that turn 20 is, like, insane, right? So that'd be pretty cool. But overall, good job on the campaign. Yeah, you might say the cards are power creeped a little bit, but the campaign itself is great value. For only 1,250 crystals, which is like $20, you get a lot of new cards, you get a lot of fun single-player content. So a lot of these missions are pretty fun, especially the later game ones. I can't wait to see what the good campaign brings. I'm certainly hoping to vaporize some annoying-ass angels or whatever it is we're gonna face. Probably we're gonna be playing as Corruption because that's the direct opposite of Order, and fighting against Antriel, right? Because she's the big Order lady thing. I don't know. And then Antriel and the other angels or whatever. Or maybe we'll be fighting against Hermelion. Or, and this is a secret theory heard for the first time from the Fuzz, Amalric's sister didn't die. She was brought back from the dead by, I don't know, Bezarok or something. And she's like, she's leading the forces of evil, and she's gonna clash with her brother on the battlefield. Like, that's gonna be the final battle. Oh, it's gonna be like a second to last battle before she goes on to confront Antriel. That would be awesome, right? That would be really fun. You know, this is just speculation. I don't actually know what's gonna happen, but hey. It could be the case. Anyways, thanks for watching. Enjoy the campaign. It's really fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh, P.S. I think Bolter is going to be doing like a playthrough of this. He's been talking about it ever since they announced the campaign. So, that's going to be great. If he doesn't play hardcore, I'm going to yell at him because he's experienced enough.